and welcome everyone back to Nerd TV for another full throttle sim racing points truck series race coming at you live from the simulated Talladega Superspeedway, where they are set to go 75 laps around this 2.66-mile racetrack. Weather on the track, really hot temperature on the surface, 104, really lot cooler temperature in the air at 79, so expect that track temp to go down as this race progresses, but it's Talladega. Doesn't matter regardless, but, just a fun fact. 41% humidity, partly cloudy, and 8-mile-an-hour winds. Probably not going to play much of a factor here tonight as well. And so it's playoff time here for these trucks. Race number 2 for the round of 16. And my name is Jeremy Stanley, a.k.a. Jay Swifty. And to my right-hand side, as always, for the most of 2023, Jason Rockefeller. How's it going?
I'm doing good, buddy. I'm ready here for some trucking at Talladega. By far, probably one of the best car track combos, I'd say, on iRacing when it comes to it. The trucks are just slow enough to where you don't feel like you're going too fast, but there's still a lot of handling with these trucks where you feel like you can really save the thing and catch it. And obviously, with a couple of the recent new updates, you can push these trucks a lot better. Remember, you were not able to push these trucks as good a few updates ago. You'd push somebody and you jack the rear end of the truck up off the ground and just turn them. And before that, you were able to push them really hard and continuously go and go and go and never let off. But now we're back to that. So I'm very interested to see how tonight is, considering that obviously this is the second to last race in the round of 12. And obviously the point standings are, really shaping up to be interesting. I mean, you got Michael Blackner right above the cutoff line. He's been doing pretty solid. Alan Durango is just a handful of points back. And then you get to Ryan Chapman, Sherwood Williford, Lane Allen. They're all back there. They're not in must-win situations, but they need to have pretty much great days here at Talladega. So this is a hit-or-miss race if you're a driver out here today.
Yeah, they're really the only driver two drivers I say, to me, they're not technically a must-win, but in my eyes they are, is going to be the 14 Lane Allen, the 33 is Sherwood Williford. I say that because there's 19 trucks currently in the session with 2.5 minutes left to go before qualifying. Laying out on the 14 is 17 back, and with 19 trucks, that means you got to finish second or first, or second place, because first locks in, right? So second place, and the guys all in front of you and points have to be in the back of the field. Like, it's probably not going to happen. So I put the 14 must win, and then Sherwood Williford's only 1 point shy of the 14. So those two, I say, are going to be up front for the most of this race, trying to get that win.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, really, tonight, Jeremy, is all about who's going to be your dancing partner. We have guys like Fury Motorsports, and like a couple of other teams. Fury Motorsports is just one of the notable ones and one of the most memorable ones because we all know the story. Brody Hanna, Michael Blackner, Tony Solari, Richie Coy. They've been so strong here at these plate races. But, we very well could see, other teams in here tonight. We've obviously seen how good Blackwater Motorsports has done. Elevated Esports, they were very, very good in the Cup race at Daytona for the cutoff race. They could very well do the same here tonight. Because I mean, if you think about it, back at Daytona, Robert Malikian, he could have won that race. Had he not have got involved in a wreck with Brandon Gagnon and a few others, he would have probably won that race, won that first stage. We know how strong he is from what we've seen here, these super speedway races. So today it's just going to all be about finding your drafting partner and who you feel most comfortable with pushing you and who you feel most comfortable with pushing.
And it's going to be amplified for that situation because it's the final race here, or the middle of the race, sorry, or for the round of 16, because we have Iowa next week. And for Talladega, like, if you want to advance in the playoffs, you have to do well here. And so you want to, find those partners early and that you can trust. And on top of that, you got to make sure you have a clean truck. So do you run up to the front? Do you run far in the back? Do you kind of space yourself off from everybody else? There's a lot of different strategies that are going to be involved, not just on pit road, but it's always a chess match here at a super speedway race, especially when it comes to the playoffs. You have to be there toward the end, and it's such a wild card track. You never know here.
Yeah, you never know. And here's the thing, too, to point out. And you saw those guys coming to pit road there as you look here at the practice screen with just 5 seconds remaining coming up. You saw Ryan Chapman lock it up. That's the thing, too, Jeremy. How are these guys going to handle coming into green flag pit stops? It's kind of a hit or miss when it comes to these races with Will we see them? Will we not see them? Depending on the amount of cautions tonight, we might see them. But I mean, who knows? We might not see them at all. But if these guys do go green most of the way, then all of a sudden have a caution and then they go green the rest of the way. When they do have to go to green flag stops, how are they going to handle it? Who are they going to go with? You want to make sure you're on the bottom of that racetrack. This track is so much more technical than most people think when it comes to it. Strategy is the name of the game here at Talladega. You either ride in the back all race long or you fight hard all the way up at the front of the field to try to escape all the carnage. But in my opinion, Jeremy, there is nowhere that's safe here at Talladega.
Yeah, unless you're outside the pack and just lonesome with a partner, it's tough to keep out of trouble. But it is qualifying time. We're gonna get our screens off your guys's, or our cameras off your guys' screens if I can talk tonight. Sheesh. We're gonna ride on board the number 19 roof camera here of Richie Coy, and that newly painted. It looks like, I think he's maybe ran this one time before the Frito skin. I know you love me calling it skin there, Jason, but these color combo is really good. It works well. And I don't like the snack personally, but I'll give it an A for the scheme.
Well, like I said in our little group text chat on our phones before, I said I just had Fritos not even 30 minutes ago. I'm not even joking. I love the honey barbecued flavored Fritos twists. Those are the absolute best. Easily one of my, that too, except I'm not really a dip guy there, Dustin. Dustin was saying Fritos scoops for the viewers listening and watching, and for some reason, I don't know why. They taste different than regular Fritos, but hey, that's just me. I'm a weirdo. I'm also a nerd. But Fritos honey barbecue flavored are my favorite. And Richie's run this scheme in the past. He said, hey, why not? I had some Fritos, had the idea of a Fritos truck. Thought, hey, let's make a Fritos truck. Sure enough, he did. And I tell you what, that thing looks really, really gorgeous. You know what it looks like from far away, Jeremy? It reminds me of, a Raising Cane's kind of truck, just because of the logo that Fritos has. But that truck definitely looks beautiful. I love all the little Fritos corn chips down the sides. That truck looks absolutely beautiful, and I think it's going to be very, very fast tonight.
Richie's always fast, no matter where he goes, and he's still wall riding up here in the third lane here for the completion of lap number 1, and which for qualifying at Talladega, I can never get down the super fast time. I'm always 6th, 7th, 8th on back, never be in the top 5. And I've seen some people run the middle of the track for their warm-up lap. I've seen a lot of guys run the wall. A couple guys I've even seen qualify top 5 running the bottom lane as their warm-up. So I don't know what the proper lane is around here. Richie's electing to take the top half of the track. And this is an open setup league. So you have your setup geared maybe toward a certain way to get your speed built up. If you don't want to turn the wheel too much, run up to the top. If you feel like you need to rotate a little bit more, I don't know. I'm not good at this. I'm just I use this as a training session, essentially, for me when it comes to these qualifying sessions.
Qualifying here is very, very, kind of, I guess the right word is, phrase pinpoint maybe. You have to be very right on the dot when it comes to qualifying here. You have to be very smooth, very specific with your qualifying lap. I am not a qualifier at these super speedways. I just can't figure it out. I know what people do. I just never have been able to figure out anything here at these super speedways with qualifying, no matter what I do. But I am pretty good at qualifying open wheel cars on oval tracks, I will say. So I guess that's a plus for me. But when it comes to stock cars, no. But the thing is with these trucks, Jeremy, tonight is, really qualifying isn't going to matter. But it all depends on, will these guys try to pass for position early on? Will they stay double wide and kind of have that same group up in the top 5, top 10 wise, and then in the back half of the field, like we did at Daytona until the end of the stage, where we got really racy. Robert Malikian was able to go on and win it. But, then all hell broke loose. So we'll have to see how it ends up being here tonight. Tommy Schaefer so far on the pole, 55.513, his fastest lap. I want to say, Jeremy, I don't think qualifying really matters that much here with the trucks.
It doesn't, and the fact that there's only 19 trucks that have taken time in practice, the field isn't super large like we're accustomed to seeing, right? So when you only have 19 trucks, you can start in the back and still be in a pretty competitive standpoint through the entire race. You have the time to lag back until maybe 15, 20 to go, and then you can hook up with your teammate, and just within a couple laps you can send it up there. Only have to pass the next amount of trucks, and that's assuming you keep an entire field healthy and not anyone wrecks out of the race. So with 75 laps, there's bound to at least to be one incident with some guy either falling back of a bad pit stop or involved in a wreck of some kind. So it's going to be easier for these guys to go to the back to the front, which that should see some spacing throughout the field because so. And as you see right there on the right-hand side of your screen, we are checker flags for the qualifying session. So Tommy Schaefer keeps that pole position with a 55.513, winner of last week's race. So, I know it's Talladega, but let's see if he can go back-to-back here. Race session is live. We're going to wait for a couple more trucks to get onto the grid to get this Talladega 200 underway. And I think we're going to go ahead and do that. So here now, the number 29, Tommy Schaefer, is going to be starting this race. P1, the 00, Tyler Brown will start in second place. Cody McKinney in third. Brandon Gagnon, who qualified, did not practice, so he came in through a late first time on the board. Is going to be fourth fastest, so no idea how that truck's going to perform in the traffic. Fifth place, 23, Brody Hanna. Sixth place, Joseph McKinney. Seventh, Richie Coy. Eighth, J.P. Burns. Ninth place, Michael Blackner. And the 10th place starting truck, 08, Sylvain Jolly.
Rest of this 21 car, or should I say truck field, you have 11th place, Robert Malicki, and he's looking to try to rebound after a tough Daytona race with the super speedways, was so fast there. Ryan Chapman back behind the bubble by 11 points. He'll start 12th. 13th, you have Tony Solari, and 14th, you have Colby Mice. 15th, you have TJ Bartel, Lane Allen there in the number 14 machine. One of those guys, 12th. One of those guys also 5th up on the board. Then you have Stephen Hollingsworth, Sherwood Williford there in 17th and 18th. 19th goes to James Torrey, and 20th is Brandon Elder. And rounding out the field is Alan Taranco, who sits just about 4 to 5 points right now below the cutoff line, and he is starting deep in the field, Jeremy, so he is going to have to keep his eyes out.
Yeah, and I don't think Brandon Elder is going to be gridding here. It's been, he gets on the server every single time. It's just 50-50 if he's going to make some of these races this past month or so. So we got to wait until these trucks roll off to go down to turn number 1 to see if that 51 truck will make the start here for tonight's Talladega 200. But stage break is going to occur on lap 25. Oh. So exactly a third of the way through the race, we will see these guys come down pit road for at least a guaranteed caution here tonight. And then about 45 laps or so to complete the race, which that should be about a 1 to 2 pit stop stint if they go green the whole way.
Yeah, and Jeremy, I think breaking news here. I don't know if Tommy Schaefer missed the start once the pace car started to roll off the grid, but he is now listed in the 20th position. So it looks like I don't believe he's going to start here on the pole. I don't know if he's on pit road, if he even got in the truck, if maybe he had some kind of connection issue or what, but Tommy Schaefer nowhere to be seen. That was last week's winner, already locked into the next round, obviously. Remember, had that awesome battle with Cody McKinney just a week ago in the closing laps at Texas, and those guys were on the exact same setup, the Premier Racing setups. Did such a good job, but Tommy was able to outlast Cody there at the end. And yeah, Jeremy, I'm still not seeing Tommy Schaefer on this track right now. I do not know if he's going to be starting this race.
I got you an update, and he got on track for the grid, and then connection dropped due to packet loss. He has reconnected since then, and I think he's now sitting on pit road waiting for the start of this race. So he's going to be okay. He's back in. He's just got to wait for the green flag to fly before he can roll off of pit road, and you see him right there in that front spot on pit road. So if he doesn't get a quick caution, he's definitely going to fall 1 lap down just because you're a whole, 2 seconds plus slower every single lap around this place, so about 15 laps or so, and you're going to the back 1 lap down. So pace car is down. We're getting ready to take this thing green flag. Your new pole sitter, so to speak, the 28 Cody McKinney. They're in some new colors, really chromed out ghost number setup. I kind of like that. The white base with a chrome number. I've not seen that combination, but I'm liking it. And they're on the tri-level here in the Geico restart zone. And there it is. The green flag is out. We are officially underway for the Talladega 200.
Tyler Brown is going to get a great start here with help from Brandon Gagnon on that outside bottom. Kind of stacks up a little bit. There's Joey McKinney, their third up on the top lane. He had himself a good beginning of the race back at Daytona, the last super speedway race we had. Missed the next round of the playoffs, so he is one of those guys who is out looking to try to just have a good race today. They're all double file down the back straightaway here for the first time.
Very clean start here in FTSR. They always give each other a lot of space each and every single lap, especially in the first half of these events. So I expect nothing different here. The back half of the race is where it gets pretty chaotic, and we've seen that for the past probably month or so. A lot of these truck and cup races on Monday and Wednesdays have been just really calm, really tame the first half, and then a lot more cautions than usual for the later half of this year compared to all the other seasons that we've covered for FTSR. And so it might be a similar story here tonight, but these trucks are all tightly bunched up together now. So if you have one issue, you're going to see some big wrecks.
No doubt about it. Obviously, you don't want to get bunched up too much, because if you do that, the more the stack up's going to be, the easier the wrecks are going to start occurring. So you want to make sure you give everybody as much room as possible. Remember, the key thing when it comes to the super speedways as well is do not push the pusher. If you do that, boy, oh boy, you could start some controversy, and you will have a lot of heads on you yelling at you more than likely, because nobody likes a guy at the super speedways that pushes the pusher and starts the so-called big one. But so far, everybody's kind of clean here, Jeremy. They work on to lap 4 coming down this time by Cody McKinney, able to lead Brody Hanna right behind him in that second place spot. Then you have also the 19 Richie Coy right back behind him. That's Brody Hanna's teaming. The outside, Nerds Motorsports driver Brandon Gagnon trying to get to the side of Brody Hanna, just doesn't have enough help, enough push from Tyler Brown back behind him.
The first part, what you said there, that's why I really appreciate this league here. These drivers have great driver etiquette, and so they're not trying to push the issue early on. I've already stated that, and it's just provides some really clean racing usually. And just to give a quick update on the pole sitter that's now 20th place, yeah. The number 29, Tommy Schaefer. He's running a whole 14 to 17 mile an hour difference with these trucks, just to show you how much difference the draft speed is and without the draft. So Tommy Schaefer, you see him all by himself there. These guys are already on the front straightaway into the tri-oval, and he's sitting there through 3 and 4, 15 mile an hour difference on average. So he's going to need that caution quickly. We jump back up to the front action here, and still just everyone side by side, not giving an inch hair in the front.
Yeah, but everybody, though, still being side by side and also having that driver etiquette in Germany that you did, in fact, talk about, wanting to be smooth. Remember, this stage right here is only going to be 25 laps, so it's going to come, to an end, a lot sooner than these guys think, but they have to keep their patience. I know that it's easy to ride around for about, what would you say, Jeremy, about 10, 20 laps or so. But then once you get to about 25, 30 laps, you kind of start to get patient. That's when you really start to see guys making moves, not out of desperation, but just mistakes, no rhythm type movements, where everybody's used to it. It kind of just happens abruptly. Somebody might get shuffled to the back. Somebody might get put in a 3-wide situation. Somebody might just leave a lane open that they might have not let. But some guy is going to think, hey, I see a lane possibly. I'm going to go for it. I mean, wouldn't you say? Because I know that out of all the Talladega races I've ran, it just seems to be the case about, 20, 25 laps in as people trying to get impatient.
Yeah, I mean, we might see that here toward the end of the stage one. We might see some takers that need those extra points, like the people on the cut line or just below it. They're going to need every single point possible. So to see them trying to battle inside the top 5 for some extra bonus points would not surprise me one bit. But some of these other guys who are locked in or close to being locked in after one race with that point separation, they might take it a little easier and not push that issue. So it's going to be cool to see all the different ways of how these guys are going to tackle the stage one, because they're going to treat it like it's the end of the actual race, and then they're going to line them up and do it all again for double the amount of laps here. One truck blinking there on the I side, about 4th place back is the 99 JP Burns. Look like he's stable once more, and that's usually a really scary thing here if you're trying to draft. Right now Sylvain Jolly's like, oh man, where is he going to respawn at, and do I hit him?
That's the thing too when it comes to it. And I know obviously this is not something that we would ever talk about in racing, but it's a simulator, so we can talk about it. Is the connection issues here at Talladega. This is the worst track to ever have connection issues at, between this, Daytona, and obviously the new Atlanta. You see JP Burns continuing to have a surge in and out due to his connection issues, and sometimes that can start, creating a lot of like a rubber band effect. And then, next thing you know, somebody's spinning once he appears back on their screen. So they have to keep in mind of that. If you're Sylvain Jolly, you're screaming at that 99 machine, telling him, hey, man, hey, you're having connection issues right now. I don't know what you want to do. And the same goes for probably Joseph McKinney, because he's the one getting pushed by the 99. And then Sylvain Jolly, he doesn't want to get too hard where he, gets right up to the back bumper, that 99 pushes, and all of a sudden he's gone. Then he comes back. Next thing you know, he's on your outside. You're 3 wide. You just don't know. So these guys have to be mindful of that 99 for the issues he's having right now.
You really do, and it's hurting the draft. You're starting to see this. The 99's blinking more, than all of a sudden the 38 Brandon Gagnon there on the top half is just not even to the door panel at this moment, at least off turn number 4 with the number 28 Cody McKinney. He gets back there virtue of the side draft. The outside truck has the advantage when it comes to side draft. It can really slow up the truck below him, and it propels them at the same time. But when you have that guy blinking a few cars back, or in this case a few trucks back, it's so unstable. You lose the truck length and you gain it back, and then you lose it again just because there's so many checkups trying to figure out where the 99 is going to respawn. And with this iRacing platform, most other video games too, simulation or not, and whenever you have someone in a situation where they're in and out of connection issues, sometimes you can like spawn inside of another vehicle or person depending on the game, and so you avoid the contact that way, but you still don't want to risk anything, especially early on in this race.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So it's definitely going to be something that we're going to continue to look at. Obviously, the 99 still hasn't seemed to settle it. It kind of just keeps happening at random periods, so we'll definitely keep an eye on that. But look at this right now. Nerd Motorsports driver Brandon Gagnon going to the lead with help from Tyler Brown. Joseph McKinney right back behind him. But that 28 machine, 23 machine, that whole bottom lane just seems to be very, very fast on the bottom lane. And just like Daytona and Atlanta, Jeremy, once you get on that outside lane, you can't really do anything in the corners, but once you get on corner exit, you can have that great surge of momentum down these straightaways due to coming from a higher point of the banking and then coming onto a flatter part. So it's kind of like, I guess you could say, I guess the best way to put it is like, obviously the Hot Wheels track. You put 2 tracks side by side with one another. You have one that is at a shorter distance up in the air, and then you have one that's at a higher distance up in the air. Which one's going to go faster and have more momentum? Obviously, once they get off the track and you let them go wherever they want, it's going to be the higher one. So that's why you see these guys start to have surges of momentum off these corners, because they're running that higher lane. And that's going to be something that's going to be key at the end of these races, is which lane do you want to go on? Do you want to stay on the bottom knowing you have that safety of the yellow line right there, or do you want the top lane? And look at this go right now, 3 wide, first time all night. Brandon Gagnon, Tyler Brown almost for a second. We're almost 4 wide. We are 4 wide now, into 3 and 4. Joseph McKinney all the way to the outside. He gets hung out to dry. They start to settle it back, but this is a huge scramble up in the middle of the pack.
And this scramble has allowed the 23 of Brody Hand and the 19 Richie Coy, Freer Motorsports driver, now residing 1 and 2 on the outside lane, as they all go now single file into turn number 1. And that all started by that pass for the 38 Brandon. That momentum, you got no one helping you, pushing you in what they call the sucker hole, and so you start to fall back, right? And then Tyler Brown could not make up his mind. He went down to block, and then he went back up to say, you know what, I cut it too close, I'm going to give you that lane. And that cut off so much speed, it forced the 18 of Joseph McKinney to make that charge to the 4th lane and momentarily had it going. But they quickly dissolved back to 2x2 throughout the field. And somehow, some way, the 38 Brandon Gagnon returns as your leading truck on the outside lane here. This time with help with the 00 Tyler Brown, as he's trying to get him back to the top spot.
The biggest loser, Jeremy, out of all that was Joseph McKinney there in the number 18 machine. I mean, he decided not to go 3 wide, but he wanted to go 4 wide there for a moment. He was 3rd up on that top lane. Now he's 5th up on that top lane. Could go back to 6th, depending on what Colby Mice and that Exalta paint scheme wants to do. And then you see them right here checking up off the corner, starting a little bit of confusion. Sylvain Jolly almost to the inside of that 08 machine, or that 18 machine there for just a split second. but everybody is still able to manage to keep it double flied, keep it clean, keep it green so far as they wrap around 3 and 4. That 38 of Gagnon, despite the issues he had with Tyler Brown a couple laps ago, they're still doing really, really well together up at the front.
And here comes the 29, Tommy Schaefer, pole sitter. He is just a couple seconds in front of this pack of trucks as he's going to go lap down. I said about lap 15. This is probably the most accurate call I've made, being on lap 13 or 14. He will reside a lap down. So I give myself a small kudo here and there once a month. Seems fine to me. They are directly side by side. This is going to force them 3 wide here on the back straightaway or turn number 3. Here they come. You can clearly see on the left-hand side, that's the 29 Tommy Schaefer. Going to go 1 lap down. The only truck 1 lap down as he just gets gobbled up there. You can see the speed difference. I can tell you the mile-an-hour difference, but visually seeing that 15 mile-an-hour difference, it looked like he's just sitting still. He's going to dip back in line and kind of hang tight now with the pack.
And that's a heads-up move by Tommy Schaefer. I mean, that's what he wants to do. He just wants to kind of hang on to the tail end of this pack, try to pick off as many spots as he can, you know, if he's closer up to the front. But now that he's at the back of the pack, really, you just want to ride around. Make sure that you hang on to that lead pack. You don't want to be left out because right now he's in the lucky dog position. You know, if the caution were to come out, as long as he doesn't get involved in a wreck, he should be okay. So good job by Tommy Schaefer to be able to tuck back in the line once that gap was shown to him up on the top lane. You see him all the way back there right in front of the 25 of Stephen Hollingsworth, who has been on an absolute barn burner recently the last 2 weeks in the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. Those two doing a great job. And look at the momentum up on the top side just from the checkup on the bottom of the racetrack. So these guys are doing really good. Tommy's biggest thing right now, I think, Jeremy, is to just make sure that he is being super duper careful to not make sure that he gets involved in a wreck.
Brandon really just pushed Tyler Brown so far into the lead. Him, the 38 and the 00 both able to pull down in front of Brody Hanna to take over first and second place now. So 00 and the 38 lead this race at the moment. JP Burns leading the top side, 4th truck back in the field here as he continues to blink in and out. We are 14 laps completed, 11 laps to go in stage number 1. Give a shout out to the series sponsor, Sim Racing Points. It's your all-inclusive league points management system that allows league owners and admins the ability to completely track their league stats and more with one simple upload of the race export. But they don't stop there. For the webmasters, they allow creation of complete customized widgets for any website to fully display points, results, and more that are easily updated when the results are uploaded. With just a few simple clicks, your league will be up and running and looking professional. While doing so, check out everything they have to offer your league at simracingpoints.com. And Jason, it is getting crazy out here. 3 wide for 4th, 5th, and 6th rows here. And this is getting to the final 10 laps of the actual race. We're going to start to see this craziness happen before caution.
Stephen Hollingsworth. Oh, no, Jade. Oh, my goodness. I have no idea how they saved that. Oh, my goodness. Give that Get a Grip award to that 99 machine of JP Burns as he's continuing to surge in and out with his connection issues right now. Man, oh, man, he should have been going right around in front of the field, but did a great job at being able to save it. Maybe we can get a replay on that here in just a second. I was just going to say, Stephen Hollingsworth was doing a great job, was helping Brody Hanna back there, and now he was finding himself right inside the top 10 to top 5 almost, but he's been able to fall back. But look at that, all the traffic now, everybody's scrambled up, and then here they come right into 3 and 4. This is after the fact, so we're going to VHS rewind it down the back straightaway. You can see him right here, riding on outside. He's getting that push, Jeremy, from that 25 Space Force machine, and then coming right off the corner. You see the 99 holding his line, 25. It's kind of hard to push in the corner. Just gets him right there in the left rear. And oh my goodness, that thing should have definitely came down, clipped the 08, clipped the 18, and probably the rest of the field. But wow, he did a hell of a job saving that.
It is so tough to be in the shoes there of Stephen Hollingsworth to lift and get off that back bumper. It just, when the truck goes high like that in front of you and you have help from behind trying to push you along the track, it is so tough to lift, not have the guy run to the back of you and keep off the back bumper of him. So natural things like that will occur, and you're starting to see this 4th lane. Look at it develop. We got the McKinneys right here, Joseph leading the way over Cody, and they got a nice little charge here with Alan Duranco, Ryan Chapman, and it looks like Robert Malikian. So these guys are propelling this 3 wide here. But as soon as I say that, they heard me. They said, nope, we're going to leave the McKinneys all by themselves. And now Sylvain Jolly's going to be leading the charge here on the top.
And Sylvain's doing a really good job right now. He's got help from, I believe that's the 8 of Colby Mice, doing a great job. And then there's the McKinneys up at the top. You have Joey, and then you have, Cody. They're doing a good job as well. And Cody really doesn't need to, he's got a lot to lose here tonight. So I think he just wants to kind of keep, make sure he has a good, solid, steady race. Doesn't need to wreck, doesn't need to put himself into a position where, he's he can go for the win, obviously, but don't be pulling stupid moves. So I think he's doing a really good job right now. You see Ryan Chapman jump up to the top. Same with Alan Duranko. Two guys who are below the cutoff line coming into tonight's race, inside of about 11 points behind Michael Blackner, who's had a solid race so far as well. He's kind of drifted back to the 9th spot, was up in the top 3 at one point, but it's getting dicey up here at the front. There's your IROC 93.5 camera for Ryan Chapman. Look at how locked in and focused he is, Jeremy. Just think about it. If we could just keep this on here for about a lap, watch how focused he is. These drivers, and I'm a victim of this myself, they do not blink unless you get in a non-stressful scenario here at Talladega, but that just almost never happens. Look at how focused he is. Been talking here for half a lap. Still has not blinked once out of the driver, the number 27 machine. He's doing a great job on that outside lane, pushing JP Burns.
It takes a lot of self-control to realize what you're doing each and every single lap, and I also count myself doing this multiple times throughout even a shorter race, is where you're so focused you forget to breathe even, at least a normal pace. So you're kind of holding your breath, you're not blinking when the caution flies or when you get a moment to relax. Your eyes feel really dry and you have to blink a bunch of times. Oh, we got a really bad bump there from Alan Duranko. It really upset the truck. You saw him going left and right, almost hit the outside wall. And that little bump now is going to slow up that run they did have. It looks like the 8 of Chloe Mice is going to try to get back around until he gets to Sylvain Jolly. He now has to lift, and now here comes the outside once more with that charge. But yeah, it is so hard to just, not think about your basic bodily functions, right? And so you lose the blinking, you don't breathe as much, and then you kind of have to do like the Richie Coy. Remember when we watched his camera from time to time, he would exhale every single corner, and that takes some conditioning and practice.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Jeremy. I mean, that 27 machine, we were on board with him from the cockpit camera for a lap and a quarter, and he did not blink once. So that 27 might need some eye drops after this one's done, to say the least. But he's doing a great job, still pushing the JP Burns machine, who's still continuously, we've been, keeping updates on it, still having some connection issues, still surging in and out. So Ryan has to be mindful of that. And Jeremy, you have to imagine, if you're a driver like him, we can go back to, there he goes again. If you're Ryan Chapman, you got to be scared to be getting to the back bumper of that 99 machine. If it was anybody else in front of him, I think he probably would have gotten to the front already.
Yeah, 100% here. Sylvain's doing a really good job right now maintaining this top 3. He's not really utilizing too much of that side draft that he could be getting, but the same token, he's got a great help. When I say that, they're a little spaced out now, but somehow that 08's able to maintain the pace here. But look at the 16, Robert Malikian. He's going to do something on the top side that no one else has done before, at least try to, which get into the top 3 while doing the outside lane. He's got a great run here, great assistance from that 14 Elaine Allen, who's in basically that much win situation, and he's going to try to get himself up here as we're coming up to 2 laps to go in the stage.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. And to lap 25, we will take that yellow flag for the first and only stage break of the evening. And so far, it's all been Tyler Brown up at the front. Brandon Gagnon and him doing a really good job working together. And also, Jeremy, you got to think, Tyler Brown doesn't have, any teammates really out here currently. I mean, he has, the 29 machine, but he's a lap down right now. He's nowhere really around him currently. I'm looking for him in this pack. I don't see the 29 machine. He's in all the way at the tail end, right behind Sherwood Williford and James Torrey. So Tyler Brown has no help up at the front of this field for teammate-wise. He just has to rely on guys who he trusts, maybe guys he talked to during the week of time to practice, maybe during this practice session they had before the race, maybe during qualifying. Hey, Brandon, hey, Sylvain, etc. Do you want to hook up together in the race if we present ourselves an opportunity to do so? And so far, him and Brandon have been doing a really good job working together. But man, Colby Mice and Sylvain Jolly, they are doing a great job as well. They've been hooked up together pretty much this entire race almost. And Sylvain Jolly just goes to the front right now.
2 laps to go, and this place right now looks like it is the final lap of this Talladega 200. 3 wide, 4 rows deep, and the 16 of Malikian has got to the point there on the top with the assistance of Lane Allen. This is going to be huge if Lane can keep this run going right now. Cleared everybody else on the inside. He can elect to go down and help if needed, and there he goes. He's going to carry the 08 with him to the bottom. He's going to pass Robert Malikian. Yep, and the 14 is now going to be your race leader coming to the white flag for the end of the stage.
And you notice too, Jeremy, how the 08 left his buddy to go down and help the 14. So that was some great driving right there. As we're nearly 4 wide going through the tri-oval. Colby Mice, Duranco, JP Burns, and Brown, and almost Gagnon for just a split second went 4 wide, but they settle it back to 3 wide with 1 lap to go in the stage. Lane Allen playing some great moves just a lap ago, trying to hold everybody off for this stage, but hold on, here comes Robert Malikian up to the top, and then Ryan Chapman all the way at the very top of the racetrack. This is still anybody's stage with half a lap to go.
Keep your eyes on that 27. I think he has a great chance here of taking this stage 1 as your winner. Got 2 more corners to go and the tri-oval before we're going to get the checker flag for stage 1. It looks like the outside's starting to lose that little momentum, so now it's going to be down to the 14 and the 16 off turn number 4. Ryan's got a little bit of run again. Oh, the 08's going to go below. Almost turned Lane Allen. Don't want to see that. Oh, contact Ryan Chapman and Colby Mice. Not going to matter. They go straight, and Robert Malikian is going to win this stage.
I don't know, man. That was really close at the line. We're going to have to take a look at that. I think JP might have got him. He had enough momentum heading through the tri-oval, but if that's the case, then Robert Malikian, great job from holding everybody off here. You see them coming to the line. JP was able to get there, and by the looks of it, I think he might have got him right here at the line. I think Malikian got him right there by just about a bumper, or what you would call a Goodyear tire width. So great job by Robert. And hey, that's both of the super speedway stages that he has won now from Daytona to Talladega. So this 16 machine, he knows what he's doing out here.
He's got a damn good setup for sure. And that was by 14 one-thousandths of a second, separated the 16 and the 99 at the checkered flag. But we're going to go to picture-in-picture commercial break. These guys are going to head down pit road, get some new tires and fuel, and we'll be back shortly before the drop of the green flag. And back to full screen coverage here. We have just over one lap, I believe, left before we're going to restart this race under green flag for stage 2, which will happen on lap number 29. And I think we wanted to bring in the number 16 truck winner of that stage, Mr. Robert Malikian, part of Elevated Esports. We're going to get a word with him. Mr. Robert, this is Jeremy and Jason in our TV booth. You got a copy?
Yep, gotcha.
You in these super speedways, you have it figured out, man. Awesome job out there to lead the third lane, to get to the lead and not let go of it in the final 2 laps there. What is stage 2 going to look like for you here tonight?
Try to stay in front again. You know how it goes with the speedways. We've been really good at the speedways lately, just not catching the best luck in the second stage, so hopefully it goes our way this time.
And Rob, obviously, we were talking right at the end of the stage about how you won the one and only stage back at Daytona. We all know the story afterwards. From that race to tonight, is there anything you learned from what happened at Daytona going into tonight that you said to yourself, okay, I'm going to do this differently. All right, I'm going to try this. Was there anything going through your mind heading into tonight like that?
I think the last time I lost a little bit of track position, I don't remember if it was on the restart or pit road, but it's just maintain the track position. Don't be keep as many cars behind as you can. That way there's less cars to avoid once chaos starts. So hopefully we get a good restart here, maintain the track position, and keep it clean.
All right, man. We'll let you get back to it. Hopefully, you and your teammates, Alan, JP, and Ryan, can do something here in stage number 2. Good luck the rest of the way, and hopefully, we'll be talking to you in the post race.
10-4.
That was number 16, Robert Malikian, winner of stage number 1. Going to be restarting this race, P1 here, with the 14 who assisted him into the front spot on his outside here. Do you think he has the right call, Jason? Do you think staying up front is the way to go?
Well, I mean, the last time he tried staying up front, he ultimately got wrecked while trying to go for the lead and whatnot. You know, obviously him and Brandon Gagnon got into it, and, you know, a few other drivers caused a massive wreck out of turn 4 back at Daytona in the regular season finale. I think he has what it takes. I really think that if he really wants to try to win this race, I mean, his best bet is to keep his teammates around him. Ryan Chapman, JP Burns, if JP's connection can finally settle down, and Allen, you know, who started towards the back end of the field, but so far he's had himself a solid race. So we'll see if Allen can get up there. He's in 15th. I think this 16, though, is going to be very fast. But remember, it's a super speedway race. This is anybody's game here tonight.
And speaking of connection issues, Tommy Schaefer, who had a connection drop and went 1 lap down, he's back up the lead lap, virtue of the lucky dog, which we did not call out. So lucky dog to the 29 for the first one this evening. But we are back to green flag to start stage number 2. Currently 0 produced cautions from wrecks. Even though the 3 wide racing here so far has been really clean and spaced out. So these guys are doing an excellent job with driver etiquette to keep off the door panels of one another here. And it looks like a pretty good restart for the top 10, and they kind of spaced out a little bit from 11th on back.
Yeah, everybody behind 11th on back, right behind Richie Coy and the Fritos machine, and Williford up on the top there, and the Kevin Harvick Taz throwback. They've kind of gotten single file, but you see some guys trying to go double wide. You see Tony Solari. I already know who he's probably trying to get to, which would be the 19 of Richie Coy. That's his teammate. You see Alan Duranco, and then there's JP Burns up at the top. 2 of those Elevated Esports guys, I think they're going to try to get hooked up if they can. But right now, they're staying double wide. The only one of those 2 teams that was able to hook up was Solari and Coy, so they get together. But everybody's still doing really good. Robert's still up at the front, battling with Sylvain Jolly there behind him. Leighton Allen up at the top. Tyler Brown, who's easily been probably the second best truck from what we've seen here tonight. And then third, you could probably say Brandon Gagnon. You see Sylvain Jolly get out of shape. They're off too.
Trying everything he can there to get the 16, or keep the 16 rather, in the front. But right now, Tyler Brown seems to be one of the best pushers on the track here this evening. He's going to propel the 14, Leighton Allen to the point momentarily in the center of 3, and then coming off turn number 4, it'll be a dead heat race here on corner exit. And I think this is going to be what we're going to see here for the next little bit, as some of the fastest trucks right now are P1 and P2.
Yeah, definitely, no doubt about it. Leighton Allen made an aggressive move later in the first stage that ultimately got him some really good track position. Tyler Brown, the same thing. Here comes an elevated esports guy, that of Ryan Chapman, up at the front. And these guys all up here inside this top, I'd say probably top 6 to top 8. They are very good at the super speedways. And some of these guys are drivers who we're used to seeing mid to back end of the pack, you know, and some guys, some of them run fast and then just have tough nights. They're not very consistent. You know, I hate to say it, one being Ryan Chapman. We've talked about it. He's had some tough luck, especially in the Cup Series earlier this year. Still in the hunt for the playoffs right now. Got eliminated in the Cup Series after the first 3 races of round 1. Now we're in round 2 of the playoffs. And Ryan just a couple points outside, that being 11 points from the playoffs cutoff line here heading into tonight. So he's looking to have another good race tonight. He knows how to do it at the super speedways. I think if he can just kind of maintain his head, keep that track position, don't make any aggressive moves, I think that 27 could wind up in a very good spot here at the end.
2 times, you know, we had the camera on Ryan Chapman's face, and I still think we're
Not
at
blinking.
0 counts of blinking. Yeah, you called it. So dial it in for sure. And the top 4 still side by side, top 5 rather, for each row. And then they're still kind of regrouping. They're reconfiguring themselves here in the back half of the field to see who's going to lead the way. Tommy Schaefer's picked up a few spots. He's got a really fast Cody McKinney on his tail end here. That's for the 6th and 7th truck on the outside lane. I'm kind of curious to see if that 29 makes any bold moves to go to the 3rd lane to get himself back, maybe into the top 10 to set himself up. Because we know by qualifying standards, he had the fastest truck, and in practice, he was pretty good as well. So, kind of curious now what the 29 can do in traffic.
Yeah, definitely, to say the least. I mean, this 29 machine, we saw how good he was in qualifying, but qualifying compared to a race here is way, way different. Somebody who usually has great qualifying pace typically sacrifices, you know, the handling of the trucks, you know, in the race pace, just for qualifying speed. And then guys who usually either don't qualify or guys who, oh, no, Tyler Brown was the wreck. Even it looks like Cody McKinney's involved. There's the 00. He was involved right into the wall in turns 3 and 4. Few guys collected. This is going to spread out the field big time. Here comes Cody McKinney, the guy who was looking to have a good night here. Ended up 2nd last week to that number 29 of Tommy Schaefer. Wanted to continue the good momentum. Not the thing that he needed to happen to him here tonight.
He got involved in this wreck here. You can see that nose damage when the 22 came back down across his nose in turn number 3. And that all started by Tyler Brown just making a little mental error, moved up the track just enough to clip the left front of Michael Blackner's truck. And then when he did that, it sends them both into the wall here, as we're going to do a little VHS rewind to get back to exactly where that moment of contact was. And we're going to go a little bit of slow motion here. They're 3 wide. They're clear. The 00 just moves up the track. Then you see the contact, and then more contact, and then there they go. They're both into the outside wall. Or at least the 22 did. I guess the 00 avoided that, and then when the 22 came back down right in front of traffic, thankfully only hit one other truck, because that could have been a lot bigger rather.
Yeah, that was just all a mistake on Tyler Brown, unfortunately. You know, just early on, you can't be letting something like that happen. And now it's come at the expense of not only himself, but also Michael Blackner, Cody McKinney, Colby Mice as well, who was on pit road. A lot of good guys early on here in this race that were, you know, involved in that wreck. And now they're going to have to kind of maintain. Obviously, they're going to fix this damage the best they can. And then they're just going to have to hope and pray for cautions, fight for the lucky dog here. Which we could see some late race yellows, but with the size of the field up here at the front, I don't know if we're going to see that kind of wreck. It's going to be really, really interesting here, to say the least, as they head around 3 and 4.
He's on the start-finish line to complete, or the travel rather, to complete lap number 35. Still 3 wide, now 2 rows deep. That was with the 18, 88, the 14, but now it looks like the 33 of Williford jumps up to help TJ Bartell to propel those 2 trucks maybe into the top spot here. Little separation on the middle lane between the 25 and the 08. That's Hollingsworth and Sylvain Jolly. 33 Williford gets a great launch through the center of turn 2. Does not carry that momentum on corner exit here as they remain 3 by 3. 2 rows deep here with the 25, Mr. Hollingsworth, leading the way at this time.
Steven's been doing really good in the Cup Series, like we had talked about here as of recent. So I think if he really wants to just continue, you know, to just really keep on going, doing a good job, I think that Hollingsworth can be a very good guy to set himself up heading into next season as one of those guys to beat week in and week out, like a Richie Coy, like a Brody Hanna, like a Tommy Schaefer, Cody McKinney, to say the least. He's been doing a great job here these last few weeks, and I expect him to do some big things here heading into the next year.
Yeah, 100% here is the outside lane is starting to dissolve a little bit. James Torrey in the 6th want to try to help maintain that momentum, but it does not look like it's going to happen at this time here. The 00 now 3 wide, down Duranko right behind him, still stuck in that 3 wide sandwich. And with that third truck now moving up, this is actually starting to pick him up a little bit, up a couple spots on that back straightaway. The 29 of Hollingsworth somehow really checks up right in front of Joseph McKinney. It's going to temporarily allow that 08 Sylvain Jolly into the top spot, at least off corner exit that is, but they quickly get that reversed. 25 has the nose advantage this time, but watch out that 3 lane, or the third lane, that 33 triple or double A in the 6th right now. Those guys are making the charge, and they're almost to the top spot here as they go to turn 1 and 2.
And 3 wide for about 3 rows deep. Hollingsworth and Jolly there. They kind of get separated a little bit now, back to 2 wide for the first 2 rows. Joey McKinney doing a great job. We usually talk about Cody. Now it's Joey McKinney doing a great job there, running inside the top 5. Remember, talked about him earlier. One of those guys back at Daytona was fighting to get into the next round of the playoffs, I believe it was. And yeah, he was doing a great job trying to make the playoffs, but he fell short, obviously, in the first round of the playoffs, eliminated. But here he is again, trying to show the strength on the super speedway that he didn't really get to showcase at the end of Daytona after being involved in one of those incidents. So doing a great job there up in the top 6.
3x3x3, then everybody else on the bottom of this track, single file, just playing the waiting game. They probably see what's to come, which could be a wreck at any moment in time. So the back half is just taking it nice and easy, waiting to see what happens here. The 18 McKinney finally jumps out of that middle groove, goes to the bottom to follow the 23 of Brody Hanna. This can allow the 14 of Lane Allen to close in on the back bumper of Hollingsworth to continue that center lane momentum here. They go through turns 3 and 4 right now. The 33 Sherwood Williford, also one of those trucks that needs that win, into the top spot.
Yeah, and Sherwood's doing a great job as well, just kind of trying to maintain up there, up at the front of the field right now. Coming into tonight, he was outside of the bubble here coming in, and right now leading this race with just about about halfway now. So he's doing a really, really good job maintaining up at the front. He's got, a couple teammates up there, but they're kind of far back. So not exactly up at the front, but they're still hanging in there. And Sherwood's really doing a great job at minding his own, trying to work with not only Hollingsworth and Jolly, but also Lane Allen, one of the guys who is in the Chevys up there. There's Brody Hanna, obviously. So doing a really good job. That 33 is just trying to maintain that bottom position right now. 2 wide, though, for the race lead.
Yeah, excellent job he is currently doing with Sylvain all over the back bumper. Sylvain's been one of the best pushers so far through the first 40 laps of this 75-lap event for the Talladega 200. Shout out to one of our partners at Dusty Pete's, the hobby store with a whole lot more. They're based out of New York, and Dusty Pete's is your one-stop shop for many things nerdy. So if collecting is the game, then Dusty Pete's is the name. From figurines and action figures to collectible cards such as Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and sports cards, to die-cast replicas, Dusty Pete's is the place. And they have a plethora of comics to choose from too. Huge collection. So if you're young or old and want to collect anything nerdy, head yourself over to dustypetes.com, see what their online store has to offer you, and then use that promo code SUPERNERD. It's going to save you 10% off anything you purchase from dustypetes.com.
Hollingsworth now has found himself back up to the race lead, fighting with Sherwood Williford and also Lane Allen. So far, Jeremy, a lot of these guys who are up here in this top 10 are guys we have not really talked about a majority of this season, or guys who usually don't have the best of nights. You talk about Sylvain Jolly, Sherwood Williford. Look at the 6 of James Torrey up right now in the 5th position. All of the top 5 right now have gained more than 12 to 15 positions so far this race. This 6 of James Torrey could do something here later on in this race.
100%. I think this is a great time right now, just past the halfway, to jump over to our Turn Up the Tudes. We're going to listen to the sounds of the trucks go around Talladega. We'll be back here shortly. turn up the toots followed by some quacks there, as all the trucks are just single file around this 2.5-mile facility with 28 laps to go. We probably have one set of green flag pit stops remaining, and then from here on out it's going to be green to the way. It looks like at this point still no wrecks has brought out a caution to this point. We had that one hiccup about 15 laps ago. Outside of that, it has been just a very clean race so far, which is exactly what a lot of these guys needed here, Jason.
Yeah, definitely, no doubt about it. Obviously, you know, everything's gotten single file. We're still probably gonna have one more pit stop to come. I had to say, if you know these guys pitted on lap 26, it's probably gonna be coming somewhere in the next 10 laps, I'd say, more than likely. So everybody's really trying to find their partner, I think, figure out when they're gonna pit, and obviously once that first group pits, then the doors are going to be wide open here coming into the pits and start playing a whole bunch of strategies to see who's going to fight for that top spot.
Yeah, absolutely. They still remain single file here, and I would imagine the pit stops are going to come maybe in the next 5 laps. Our producer Dustin, what you're saying, lap 55. He's suggesting that's when we're going to start to see the action on pit road, anywhere from 52 to 55. That is so. If that does hold true, which I can take my man's word for that, that'll be about 3 laps from now, 2 laps somewhere in that area before we'll see that window open. And right now they got a nice little breakaway here. The top 9 are all just, was it almost a half a second difference between 9th and 10th place here? Nope. Well, here we go on your screen. We're starting to see it. And that is Fury Motorsports drivers, Brody Hanna, Richie Coy, Tony Solari. They are the first takers, and they typically, if I remember that right, Dustin and Jason, they pit a little bit earlier than everybody else on these super speedways.
Yeah, they always do try to undercut for sure, no doubt about it. I mean, they did it at Daytona, I believe it was, and here they are doing the exact same thing. But there's only 3 of them. That's the thing is, you know, I don't think 3 of them, and Richie Coy is taking a lot longer than usual. I wonder, Jeremy, if he got some kind of penalty or whatnot, but that car is still in the pits right now, and he's probably going to go a lap down here. Let's see a look here what happened to the 19. And, oh, yeah, definitely speeding on pit road, I think, to say the least. They're probably going to hold him here because he's still in the pits right now, and that could be a race-ending moment for that number 19. Some other guys starting to pit. Joey McKinney completely misses his pit stall practically. Tommy Schaefer does the same thing. So some drama on pit road, not only with the 19, but the 18, and also that 29 as well.
Yeah, I actually went back and looked at the 19 and 23's entrances, and Brody just barely escaped the iRacing stewards with that timing lineup there. Entered at 66 miles an hour at 6 over. Then Richie Coy, though, at 72. When you're 12 over, you cannot escape that, and that's why Richie Coy was held in the pit box just way too fast entering. But he was kind of following his teammate's pace there, right? So the teammate kind of led him on, and then Richie just went a little bit too faster. But here we got more trucks here, elevated esports drivers, Ryan Chapman, Alan Duranco, Robert Maliki, and a JP Burns, which is playing still Houdini on pit road right now. And 3, 2, 1 at the box. Hopefully the crew members can see the 99's tires as he goes blank once more. And now it's time for everybody else to come down pit road here, because you know that fuel tank is probably running a little empty at this point.
And these 4 guys right here up at the front of the field, they're definitely going to be pitting here pretty soon. And I am assuming that Brandon Gagnon's going to do just the same exact thing. He last pitted on lap 27, though. He's back from these guys by 31 seconds. So he's going to have absolutely nobody when he comes into the pits. And here these guys coming this time by, backing it all the way down to second. First gear lane, Allen nearly misses it. It's going to be close to see if the 14 and 25 sped coming into pit road.
By that telemetry presented by TWRS there on your upper left-hand corner of the screen, it looked like the 25 was down actually a little bit below the pit road speed, if that is measuring correctly there. So I think they're going to be safe. I didn't see any tire lockup, so it didn't show like there was any emergency to get woed up. And they're in and out of their pit stalls all roughly the same time. So it looks like clean pit stops through everyone in this field, except for that 19 who's now had to find temporary partners because of, well, the transition there of the 19 being held on pit road. So now he's got the 38 of Brandon Gagnon and the number 8 of Colby Mice behind him as they cycle through the field here.
Yeah, very interesting. Obviously, with the 19, despite being just about a lap down coming up here, once Brandon Gagnon does head into the pits, the 8 of Colby Mice a lap down. Um, Brandon Gagnon is really in a hole for himself here because, I mean, he's going to pit and he's going to be all by himself there up at the front of the field, and he's going to have to scramble to try to find a drafting partner here once he pits.
Yeah, 100% here, and starting to see who exactly is going to be the front runners in this field, as pit road has basically all but concluded at this point. And we see the elevated esports drivers. Well, actually, two of them. They got help with Solari and Brody, and then you got the 16 and 27. That's Malikian and Chapman. Those four trucks are 10 seconds behind your current race leaders at the moment, and then you have another 3 seconds or so before you get to the second group of trucks, which is JP Burns, Duranco, uh, looks like Tyler Brown and Joseph McKinney. So um, it's always the thing here at Talladega and Daytona. Any type of super speedway racing is pit road. You can feel like you have a clean pit stop, and then you exit pit road, and somehow you're 2 seconds back, you're 3 seconds back, and you wondered what the hell exactly went wrong there. It only takes one truck in your group that you come down pit road with to have a mishap or something like that, or if you just enter 5 miles an hour too slow. That is costly time when you're trying to play the draft game. And we're starting to see a lot of spacing out in this field. If you pull up the iRacing iFlag track map, you can see exactly what this looks like. And there's some clusters on the track. You have a couple right now we're looking at entering turn 1. That's Richie Coy, Brandon Gagnon, Colby Mice, Tommy Shaper. And then right now you have a couple trucks right there. And then everybody else is now crossing the start-finish line. So, in that small group of trucks that we led on first, Brandon Gagnon, Sylvain Jolly, those two are your race leaders at this time.
Yeah, and I think once Ryan Chapman here catches the 25 and the 08 with the back that he has with Malikian, Hanna, Solari, that's Allen, Williford, and they've already caught him. So they're going to try to move up to the outside, and if they can pick up these 2 trucks right here, get them on the tail end of this pack, they're going to be very fast. They are going to be definitely catching, obviously, Brandon Gagnon with that 8 of Colby Mice and that 19 of that would be Richie Coy, and JP Burns into the pits this time. I believe that it could be a penalty, to say the least. I'm not too sure if he stayed out long enough, but that 99 right now is on pit road all by his lonesome self. It's been a tough night for JP. He's had a lot of momentum, been very fast, just keeps having internet connection issues. Still on pit road right now, but Gang is still staying out, man. Very surprised by this move. I think really what he's hoping for is a caution, possibly. I just don't know if he's going to get it, honestly, with the way these guys are racing.
Yeah, the 99 was clearly held on pit road for it looks like a 30-second penalty, which is not uncommon if you make some type of pit road error. So he is suffering from that. Back onto the track now on the apron of 1 and 2 to merge back up onto the surface. He might have had a pit road exit violation of coming up on the track a little too much on that previous stop. I didn't see anything on his initial pit entrance that would warrant a flag for him, but something did, and it was 30 seconds, since that's going to put him a lap down. Plus, focus back on the racing action up front here. We're still seeing the number 38. He's all by himself right now as far as on the scoring pylon. You see second place Ryan Chapman, 3.5 back. He's part of that group of 7 trucks or 8 trucks right now. That's the next set behind.
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to catch Brandon Gagnon, to say the least, in that little pack of trucks with Richie Coy in it as well. The question is just going to be, when are they? I mean, these guys going double wide right now, Jeremy, this is not helping them at all. Their biggest thing is they have to get single file if they want any kind of chance to catch Brandon Gagnon. Yes, he's going to have to pit, but what's going to happen if caution comes out? You don't know, and guess what? Throw everything I just said right out the window, because Brandon Gagnon is in this time. He's going to have help with the 8 of Colby Mice, who has already been put a lap down. So these 2 might go 1 and then 2 laps down for Mice. We'll have to see. But Brody Hanna takes the lead over from Ryan Chapman. So currently we have a race for the lead with this little pack. They played the strategy just right. Some of these guys, you see the 19 Richie Coy, 29 of Tommy Shafer, trying to not go a lap down. And you can best bet that Richie Coy is going to try to get in that pack with the teammates and probably lead it, to try to make sure he can have his teammates keep him out front in case the yellow comes out.
And I'm excited for this pack of trucks right now in the lead. On the top 8, 3 of these guys are below the cut line. That's Ryan Chapman, Sherwood Williford, Steven Allen. These guys need the win, or at least, are looking to do so unless they have something really good and strong for Iowa next week. So who's going to be able to jump out to the front? Will the 14 assist whoever? Will the 33 make an outside run? They've both shown that they have the speed to do so. They just have to get hooked up with the right truck. So we're about to go a little 3 wide here with the 19 of Richie Coyne, 29 Tommy Schaefer. 2 of the faster trucks here in tonight's race, but just pit penalties and connection issues have kind of set these guys back a little bit. So they're hoping for a caution. If there's going to be one, now is the right time for these guys as they fall 1 lap down. And we're going to shout out one of our partners this time, our long-standing partners there at Martin Sports. It's a small company with a big-time product, home of the sim gloves and sim racing. They make the most breathable and durable gloves in the sim world. And they don't stop there, though. They also specialize in fully customized sublimation printing, from everything on Team Unit shirts, to shirts, hoodies, and which allows for 0 restriction on colors and also gives them the fastest turnaround in the business. So if you want to check out their full apparel lineup and merchandise, head over to martinsports.gg and use that very famous code that we use, Super Nerds. It's going to save you 25% off anything you purchase from martinsports.gg.
And Brody Hanna has been able to take the lead here with the help of his teammate Tony Solari right back behind. This time by, there'll be 15 laps to go. Jeremy, I want to say so far, if we had to pick anybody, I can't really tell a distinct winner so far. I mean, when you look at the guys who've been strong so far, we know that 16 strong. We know the 08 strong, the 14, the 27 of Ryan Chapman. He's made some ground up. Stephen Hollingsworth. I mean, if you had to pick a group of guys right here and pick one winner out of a hat, I mean, who would you want to pick?
I'm rooting for the underdog. I think the 14, the 33, or the 27. One of these guys below the cut line, I think, is going to be the winner of tonight's race. And of course, you got 2 in the back, 1 in the front of this main pack right now. The leader being the 27 of Chapman. He's currently ranked 14th in points. So I feel like these guys have the more of the momentum to be up there in the front toward the end of this race than anybody else. So I vote the 27, the 33, or the 14 tonight.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the 16 of Robert Malicki and the Heartbreak Kid. I mean, we've seen how fast he's been week in and week out. We talk about him all the time, and not from like a biased viewpoint. It's just, and I say this with all broadcasts I do, I think about when I go and call LSR TV Wednesday nights after this broadcast, with the Click It RV Fix series, I talk about Toby Ritters and how much he's improved and how impressive he is. It's because he deserves it. The 16 of Robert Malickian is no different. When you look at him, when he came in here to the FTSR League Division, he was a mid-pack driver. Then he had that one really big breakout moment at Kansas where he could have won. Got into the wall in turn 3 and 4, coming to the white flag, lost that race. And then ever since then, it's like he learned. I mean, he just became more consistent. He's been fighting. I mean, he's in, he was in the playoffs, I believe, for the Cup Series, if I'm correct. I'll have to check back on that. But, I mean, he's been consistent ever since then. And he's just done a really good job. I think Robert Malickian is bound to go to victory lane. Remember, we talked to him one time, Jeremy, where he finished 3rd. He said, well, now I've gotten onto the podium. I just got to finish 2 spots better. And he very well could do that here tonight. So I'd say Robert Malickian's my pick here tonight.
Yeah, Robert Malickian, 2023 B stats. Pretty mediocre season. He came on strong late. We've touched base on that. But all of 2023 B, he had 1 stage win, 4 top 5s, and 6 top 10s out of 12 starts. So at least half the races he finished in the top 5, or top 10 rather. And you come over to the 2023 C, 4 for 4 when it comes to finishing inside the top 5, or top 10 rather. So he's continuing to show here, even at Talladega once more, that he has the speed to compete with these guys each week in and week out. He just has to, put a stamp on one of these races and claim that W for the first time in 2023. This is one of his best chances here tonight. But it looks like the Fury Motorsports drivers have temporarily stacked up to the outside here, and the 23 Brody Hanna is going to lead the way coming to turn 3 with just over 10 laps remaining in this race.
Yeah, this is really still anybody's race up here, up at the front, of the front right now, so I just still don't know really who can win this race. I mean, they're going double wide. I see one driver right there, that being Lane Allen, that Bass Pro Shops machine. He made an aggressive move towards the end of the first stage, got some good track position, and here he is right now. He's the only one trying to really duck out of line, make some 3 wide moves. He's got help from Sherwood Williford. You got the 25 Hollingsworth, the 8 of Colby Mice, who's 2 laps down. Do not count this 14 of Lane Allen out. He's got his teammate right behind him. He's got another teammate back behind him. The only one who they're missing is Brandon Elder, who unfortunately did not start this race. So all of those guys from Blackwater Motorsports are up on top of the racetrack right now. They very well could get it done here tonight.
And here we go, the 2 silver trucks leading the way on the 3rd groove. That's the 14 Lane Allen, the 33 Williford, and they got that really fast 25 Stephen Hollingsworth behind them. 3 trucks on the top, 3 in the middle, and 5 on the bottom coming through the tri-oval this time. Can the 33 and the 14 propel themselves, or will it be Fury Motorsports leading the 2nd and 1st groove here at this time? After the tri-oval, the 14 gets a great little launch there. Going to try to utilize that through 1 and 2. Maybe get a little side draft off the 19 and 29 coming onto the back stretch here with just under 10 laps to go now. And here's that launch. Here's what they needed. They are 3 wide for the race lead. The sucker hole in effect. It's going to drag back the 19 and 29. Richie and Tommy say bye momentarily. 14 and 33 look to go to the bottom. Lane Allen does so. 33 is going to stay up top. Oh, but he puts a block back on that lane.
He's in the sucker hole.
That's not good. You can't do that. That's going to allow the inside to just regroup real quick and take the lead once more.
Yeah, and he gets put in that sucker hole right with that 19 and 29. You see the 8 Colby Mice dive down to the bottom. So you have pretty much up here at this front, you have 3 guys who are 1 or more laps down. So they have to be careful with who they race. You could be messing with somebody's championship hopes, feelings, and emotions on the line right now with 9 laps to go. I cannot believe that the 14 of Lane Allen said, I'm going to go to the bottom and go back to the top. I mean, I'm sorry. He did that to himself. That's his own dang fault right there. Sitting up there at the front, though. I mean, he lost that lead. He's still up there in the top 4, but it was his own dang fault right there in 3 and 4.
Yeah, 100% there. Now we got 2 new leaders of this race. Williford on the bottom, Stephen Hollingsworth on the top. They have 4 trucks on the bottom here that are about to go a lap down. That's going to be the 38 of Gagnon, the 88 of Bartel, 99 of JP Burns, and the 6 of James Torrey here as we get to the line. Coming up to 8 laps to go here in this Talladega 200. Looks like the bottom 4 trucks are going to elect to stay on the bottom as the lead trucks go to the top here. Momentarily going to be 3 wide once more. Looks like Brody's going to take a look to the outside of Williford, who has no help whatsoever. 33 deleted out of the top 5, and now it's going to be Hollingsworth and Lane Allen leading the charge on the top.
I don't know why Sherwood Williford ducked out of line like that. They were passing slower cars, but you don't go to the bottom like that. Now he has lost several positions, but he's right back behind the 19 machine, who is a lap down of Richie Coy, trying to maintain it up at the front, but it's 2 of the Fury Motorsports guys, Hannah, Solari, up there at the front trying to hold them all at bay, with Richie Coy playing defense for them a lap down right now. Coming down 7 laps to go this time by.
There's 2 races in this pack. Of course, you have the race win right now, and then you also have the battle for the truck for the to be first in line for the Lucky Dog Award presented by Martin Sports. So that being said, that's number 38 of Brandon Gagnon. That's why he's all over the back bumper of 08 Sylvain Jolly. He is trying to maintain himself as the Lucky Dog participant if he can do so. And so right now behind him is Richie Coy, TJ Bartel. Again, those guys are pretty fast at this Talladega SuperSpeedway with the setup they brung here. So you got to do what you got to do. And this is going to present some pretty tricky situations as there's 2 different kind of races going on in the same pack.
Yeah, and that's the thing you have to be careful for. You're racing the guys if you're a lap down like Richie Coy is racing the guys to get back on the lead lap. But you're also in the eye of the storm right now for Richie Coy and Colby Mice trying to get back on the lead lap. I mean, Colby's 2 laps down, but 1 lap better would make this race a whole lot bittersweet for him, knowing that he would just need 1 more caution to get back on the lead lap. But with 6 laps to go, I just don't know if it's going to happen. You have to be careful. And if you are up there at the front, oh no, Robert Milikian goes around in front of the field's first caution of the night, and the 16 goes around. No damage. It looks like it's going to involve him, maybe the 2 of Duranco, or the 14 of Lane Allen, Tyler Brown, possibly. Not too sure. Going to take a look here at the replay. Oh, and the 88 just gets hooked. Bartel gets hooked right into the 16 there down the backstretch.
Yeah, just got hooked off the corner X. It looks like the 99 of JP Burns, 88 of TJ Bartel just make contact right there. It looks like 99 was just trying to get a little bit of extra side draft off the right door panel there of Bartel, and it hooked him right into the 16, which, you know, give him another sweet chin music to the Heartbreak Kid. Thankfully, though, did not hit the wall, so he just needs 4 fresh tires, which he's got plenty of extras behind the wall because there's only been one or two pit stops, rather, and I don't think they changed tires underneath that green flag stop. But there's the contact, and it looks like that pocket of air that builds up over time once again strikes. And this time it's going to collect 4 trucks. Is Tommy Show 5 trucks laying out on the 14. So you have 5 total trucks involved in this one. You see the 6 James Torrey squeaking by on the inside, has to go back to the outside of Lane Allen and barely passes him as well. And that could have been a lot worse, but everybody kept damaged at a minimum.
You see that pocket of air, obviously. You know, the side draft attempt from the 99 and then just makes contact with the 88, turns him into the 16. James Torrey, nice job at getting right through that field. You know, but thankfully for some of these guys, you know, the way this race was running out, you know, they're going to pit, obviously. Not really going to lose a ton of track position. You look at Robert Milikian, he's sitting there still in the 8th spot, so not really that bad. Probably going to elect to come down and pit here if I presume Ford 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. I don't see him. Lane Allen's going to. There's Robert Milikian. He comes in. Joey McKinney as well. Probably going to be a few others. You see the 6 of James Torrey, Schaefer, Bartel, Burns. Most of those guys who were involved in that wreck going to come down here for 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. And Jeremy, we're looking like we're probably more than likely going to go back racing with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, looks like it. And you're looking at the number 38, who is going to be scored your hashtag Get a Grip Lucky Dog Award recipient, presented by... Oh, actually, you know what? We're going to take that back. I thought it was Brandon Gagnon, but it looks like it might be Richie Coy. We'll see when Brandon crosses the line, but I seen Brandon scored first, Richie Coy second. So we're going to see exactly what happens here. We're getting reports that the 38 might have received some form of car contact, and on the iRacing service, when you get car contact, you get disqualified from getting that lucky dog. So I think that's exactly what happened, and it's going to allow Richie Coy to sneak by and get that position. But we're going to keep you updated on that as you see him get the award officially there. So Richie back on the lead lap of this thing late in the going. We're going to jump to a really quick commercial break here and then go back live when the green flag drops for the end of this race. back to full screen here. 3/4 of a lap left, and we're going to go back to green flag for the old school style green-white checker here. Unofficially here, they get 3 in this league, and this is just natural of it coming to 2 to go when they're going to get the green flag. So they're going to have 3 more attempts if they cannot resolve it on this time, which has been pretty clean up to this point. The only wreck happened with that air pocket that just kind of built up off the corner of turn 2. Nothing of any drivers doing. So will we see some more of that, or are we going to see some good hard racing here? Time will tell.
Yeah, we're going to have to see here, Jeremy. I think if I had to guess, more than likely, just because it's Talladega, I'd expect probably all hell to break loose here. But we'll find out. I think the one driver I'm probably going to be looking for is going to be the 14 of Lane Allen. We've seen this guy continuously make aggressive moves up at the front of the field when he's in position. I expect that 14 to make moves. But really, honestly, Jeremy, I also think that this is still anybody's race here. There's no really definitive set winner yet. Obviously, I had my winner picked earlier on, but obviously right now I'm thinking otherwise.
Yeah, even though that 14 has scored 11th place on this restart, don't count them out. This thing is not over for these guys just in the top 10 or just outside the top 10 for that matter. Remember, it'll only take one hiccup from someone up front to completely erase the top 5 from their spots. Pace car is down. You head to the Geico restart zone to get that official start here for 2 laps to go. And green flag is out. This 0-8 to Sylvain Jolly. He has one of the best chances here, just continuing to be up front, top 5 all race long. He's got Brody Hanna on his outside for this restart here. It's going to be the help of Ryan Chapman or Tony Solari. Who's going to get the better push here? Oh, a little wiggle there from Ryan Chapman. I don't know if he got bumped by the 25. It sent him a little sideways. It's going to send the 0-8 momentarily to the front, but quickly we're going to see the outside push. But look at Alan DeRonco on the 2 looking to go 3 wide already.
And right now, Brody Hanna just trying to figure out which lane he wants to go down. He's going to come down, but look at Ryan Chapman has enough momentum with Stephen Hollingsworth. Now they're almost going to be 3 wide. This time entering 3 and 4. It's door handle to door handle for the race lead between Hanna and Chapman. And if Ryan Chapman could pull this off, he would lock himself. Oh,
nope.
He gets turned in front of the field, in front of Brody Hanna. Sylvain Jolly involved. 3, 4, maybe 5 cars involved. But that's going to bring out our 3rd caution of the night. Heartbreaker for Ryan Chapman after just nabbing the lead coming off turn 4.
I thought Savannah was going to come back up and cross and hit the 29 of Tommy Schaefer, but he somehow did not, as we're going to try to look at a couple angles from this wreck on the Nerd TV replay here. And yeah, this took out heavy contenders right now, the 0-8 and the 23. Probably 2 of the 5 fastest trucks all night long. And just a little turn there by Stephen Hollingsworth sends Ryan Chapman directly into the right front of Brody Hanna, and then Sylvain Jolly below him, just nowhere to go as well. They're both going to hit the inside retaining wall. Oh, actually, I think Sylvain missed it. Brody obviously hit it from that angle there, but I think Sylvain actually missed that wall.
I think he might have kissed it. We'll have to take a look and see. And obviously, we're going to have to take a look from a third-person drone cam from the 25 machine to see what happened and how that started, because it's kind of unclear to tell. Obviously, you see him getting turned right here. Look at Sylvain. He might kiss it right here once he goes over the drain. Wow, he doesn't even touch it. I thought he touched it, man. So he got involved in a sense, but at the same time, this is where I thought it was going to get big. He gets in that grass, but just like Richie Coy said back on Monday, thank you, iRacing, for that grip put in the grass. Remember that latest update for the season, put more grip in the grass. But here we go. Taking a look at the replay. 27 just moves up. Hollingsworth hooked up to the bumper. And obviously, when you start moving around with these cars, even when you're just turning the slightest bit, Jeremy, you and I both know, and I know Dustin knows, you just can't really go anywhere when you're trying to push somebody when moving around.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys see it and the people watching see it, but I see that as Ryan Chapman's mishap and not Stephen Hollingsworth, because you're running so tight here. Coming to the white flag, you cannot move up to lane like that. If you move up to the 3rd lane, there's no one with you for at least a truck length or 2 before you get somebody. So you're going to lose ground regardless. But then come wide on corner exit like that when you're trying to straighten up the truck as soon as you get to the straightaway part on exit of 4, you can't shift up a half a lane. So the bumping off corner exit, that's tough all by itself to do. But then when you try to move up out of the lane of the guy who's trying to actually push you into the race lead, in my eyes, you can't do that. And Ryan Chapman, I believe, just had just too much movement on his part.
Yeah, definitely too much movement out of the 27 machine. You're going to see right here from the bumper. Yeah, he's pushing in the corner. So it's kind of really, honestly, we're just broadcasters up here. We don't know what the 27 was feeling. Was he intending to go up the racetrack? Was the 25 shoving him to a point to where Ryan Chapman felt like he couldn't handle it right there? You know what? Real quick, let's try to see. I'm going to see if we can talk to Stephen Hollingsworth real quick. I'm going to pull him in here real quick, see if we can get a word with him. Hey, Steven, it's Jason up in the Nerd TV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, right there, we saw obviously some contact between you and Ryan coming off turn 4, and we're sitting up here debating. We just don't know. Were you just pushing him a little too hard, and he just started to get up the racetrack from you pushing him, or do you think that he just started to go up the racetrack, you were trying to follow him, just because of him moving up the racetrack, you just ended up turning him?
I have to go back and look at it for real, but from my windshield, it looked like he went up the track. Now, was it because I was pushing him too hard? Possibly. But he just made a sudden dart to the right. I don't know what that was about. I have to go back and look at it, but it was definitely not intentional. I didn't mean to do that. I mean, we're coming to the white, and the cold engine. I mean, what else do you do there? You're trying to push him out front, and your engine's cold, so you're going to be able to push for the whole next lap, and it's going to be coming for the checkered. So, I mean, I feel bad, and it took out Brody. It took out some trucks that have been up front all day, and to do that on the coming to the white sucks. But we'll go back and look at it, and look at his cockpit view, and determine what happened, and we'll just go from there. But I do feel bad about it.
All right, man, you got one lap to go to green. We'll go back and let you get back into your channel with your team here in a second. What's your game plan going in here, which is 2 laps to go in this overtime finish?
Hold it on the yellow, I guess.
Yeah, that's all about you could do, man. Well, hey, hopefully we'll get to talk to you here at the end of this race. We'll send you back down to your team. Good luck here these last 2 laps.
Thanks, man. Good.
Moral of that story, I don't think anybody knows. Maybe the 27.
Too hard to tell. It's
Yeah.
just too hard to tell right there. I mean, he said it himself. When I asked him, he said, was it because of me pushing him too hard? Possibly. You could see it in the shakiness in his voice. He doesn't know. And that's the thing, Jeremy, with super speedway racing, you just don't know. You can only go off of what somebody is either doing behind you or in front of you. And in Stephen Hollingsworth's case, he's pushing. So he's trying to help the 27. It's not like he's trying to pass him. He's trying to push him so they could surge out ahead and let those two duel it out and block and make moves and whatnot, etc. But unfortunately, just a mishap, miscommunication, bumpers hook up wrong, obviously, here. It's not uncommon for something like that to happen here.
Yeah, it's really not. And that last view that Dustin gave us before we interviewed Stephen Hollingsworth, it definitely painted the picture a little bit more clearly for me. I originally thought it was just Ryan moving up, but I think regardless of contact enough or not, the trucks were so close to each other, it could have just been a matter of just air shoving Ryan up the track versus him just driving up there himself. So we're about to go back to green flag, though. We have 2 laps here. Brody has returned to the track with no left front fender. You're going to try to survive this thing out for 2 more laps potentially. And iRacing iFlag on the Facebook chat saying some great race coverage, guys. Appreciate you, sir, for jumping on. Hopefully enjoy these final 2 laps. And we're green flag. We're underway. They're headed off into turn number 1. And still side by side here, Hollingsworth and the 0 to Sylvain Jolly. And I think Hollingsworth has got this call right. Just kind of hug the bottom, and maybe Tyler Brown, who's been one of the best pushers tonight. Let's see if he can't get him there to the race win. Is there some contact mid-pack?
Get unhooked right now with a lap and a half to go, and in fact, it's going to make the top 3. Williford, Milikian, Chapman up at the top of the racetrack. They're 3 by 3, 2 rows deep here. Heading around 3 and 4, coming to the white flag. It's still anybody's race. Chapman goes down to the bottom despite being wrecked just a lap ago, and they're coming to the white this time by.
Almost wrecking in the back, JP and James Torrey. They're coming to the white flag, though, this time. Ryan Chapman tried to push that 3rd lane, just couldn't get it going, so moves to the bottom. White flag is out. Next flag will end this race right now. Tony Solari scored as your race leader at the line. 4 wide. Ryan Chapman squeezes the gap and wrecks himself. And in the 33 of Williford. This is basically going to put him out of the points contention with that wreck there. They are stacking them up, but we stay green flag here as we're going to have to jump to that camera angle and see who's going to win this race. Brandon Gagnon is a lap down out of the picture. So it's the number 11, then the 25 of Stephen Hollingsworth, 00 Tyler Brown. Duranko also almost in that predicament where he needs a solid finish here. It looks like he's going to get it here to the line. Off of turn 4, they stay single file. Who's going to jump out of line first? Coming to the tri-oval, still single file. I don't see any movement, so it looks like the number 11 of Tony Solari is going to pick up his first win of 2023. Congratulations, Tony, on the victory.
Wow, what a run by Tony Solari right there to just hold his line, hold his momentum. And honestly, Jeremy, just from that wreck, it all started with Sylvain Jolly starting to just get out of line, came right down. You saw Ryan Chapman and him make contact. We'll have to take a look back at the replay. It looked a little controversial. You can kind of go either way on it. But Tony Solari, Hollingsworth, Brown come home 1, 2, 3. And we're going to take a look here at the Nerd TV replay. This is heading into turns 1 and 2. Look at that 33 riding the wall. Shades of Ben Kennedy from 2015 at Kentucky. And here it is coming to the corner. The 08 goes 4 wide. He starts coming down the racetrack into the 27. Ryan Chapman doesn't know where to go. And then unfortunately, you see him just holding his line. The 08 just starts to come down, and then that pocket of air trying to side draft just kind of just starts to suck that 27 around. And look at Sherwood, man, gets launched up into the catch fence, collects a lot of heavy hitters late in the going. You see Milikian, Richie Coy, Colby Mice, TJ Bartell lifts off the ground. Tons of guys there, Jeremy. I don't really think you could put it on fault for anybody heading into 1.
Yeah, it's the last lap. You got to do what you got to do. The 27 Chapman did force the 4 wide there. But at the same token, though, the 33 Williford was not in position in that 3 wide race. But he had such a good launch off corner exit 4 and carried it all the way to turn number 1. By the time Chapman made that move, Sherwood also made the move at the same token, which inadvertently put them 4 wide in turn number 1. And then just not enough gap there on the bottom half of the track for the 27 to 08. And they end up wrecking. And the guy on the bottom of that 4 wide, well, you're seeing him do some awesome burnouts now until he hit the wall. What is up with Winters hitting the pit wall, or the outside wall, rather? So he's going to put some damage on that truck. And we're going to go over the unofficial results as he continues to pound the outside wall. I guess that's the thing he wants to do here. But Tony Solari, race winner here tonight, the Talladega 200. Stephen Hollingsworth, 2nd place. Tyler Brown in 3rd. Alan Duranko, 4th. Joseph McKinney, 5th. Lane Allen, 6th. Brody Hanna, 7th. Ryan Chapman, 8th. James Torrey, 9th. And the 10th place finisher, the 08 of Sylvain Jolly.
Rest of the field here all the way back to 21st. You have Robert Milikian, Heartbreak yet again for the Heartbreak in there. For Elevated Esports comes home P11. Then you have Richie Coy, 12th, 13th, Sherwood Williford, 14th, Mr. Brandon Gagnon had a very fast truck, just unfortunately got unlucky there in the pits. Tommy Schaefer there in the 15th position there in the 29 machine. TJ Bartell, 16th, Colby Mice, 17th. JP Burns comes home in the 18th position. You have 19th, Cody McKinney. Terrible break for him. One of the fastest guys. Usually think he'd be up here at the front, but early incident, I honestly took him out of this race pretty much. Michael Blackter was involved in that first incident. He comes home 20th, and Brandon Elder runs out the rest of the field. He did not make a start here tonight.
Thankfully, Cody McKinney had a nice little 43-point buffer between him and the guy above the cut line, so he could afford this race to go south for him, which it did so. And he's still almost in a locked-in position there. But we're going to jump over to a full screen commercial break, gather up tonight's top 3, and we'll be right back for the Martin Sports Post Race Show. Welcome everyone back to the Nerd TV portion of the post-race show, and I think we got our top three gathered up here tonight. So the first place, or first guy rather, to come into here is going to be third place finisher, 00, Tyler Brown. It's Tyler. This is Jeremy and Jason, Nerd TV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Hey man, congrats on that third place finish. Awesome job overall there. It looked like the first half of the race you had the best truck to push another truck into the front for sure. Second stage, you're kind of flip-flopping positions for a little bit. And what did it take from your camp to get home P3?
Well, a lot of patience to start off with. We had a bad spot there under the green flag stops. Tommy, my teammate, he got caught speeding on pit road there, and that kind of messed everything up. We were fortunate enough to get that late race caution and get back up there. Honestly, a lot of luck. Pushing different guys and having different guys push you. It's a big trust game, and that's what I was just talking to the Stephen Hollingsworth about. We hadn't really locked bumpers all night, so on that restart, I was kind of hesitant to push him real hard. I didn't want to cause a wreck.
Obviously, Tyler, congratulations on your P3 finish. And, man, you came in just a little bit above the cutoff line here to try to get into the round of 8. And now you guys head to Iowa next week here for the trucks. And, man, how do you feel going in there, knowing that you've had 2 finishes where you've done really good to try to lock yourself into the next round?
Yeah, I'm doing everything that I know possible to try to gain points and run good, even if it's jeopardizing certain points of the race. I had kind of a lucky strategy at Texas, and it paid off. And leading some laps here. We had a good qualifying run here. We're just gonna have to put a lot of time into Iowa, turn in the laps, get a good Q set, start up front, and just try to stay out there and finish good there. I know it's we're right at that line, and I'm doing everything I can, and Tommy and everybody pitching in and helping, and it means a lot. So it's definitely showing, and hopefully we can keep the momentum rolling.
Sounds like you got a great game plan going into next week, and hopefully everything executes the way your camp needs it to. But the floor is yours, man. Final thoughts before we let you go this evening.
Just thank you guys for the broadcast as always. Whenever I get the chance to get in here with you, it's nice to be able to go back and watch it and listen to how you call the race. I enjoy it. Brody, Richie, Tony, congrats to Tony on the win tonight. That was kind of cool seeing Tony get a win, even though I'm trying like hell to get one. It was cool to see Tony up there. And Tommy Schaefer, that's really about it. Tommy, he's been putting a lot of work in with Motec and setups and stuff, and he's come a long way. I'm leaning on him now more than I am other people, and even myself. I'm looking to him for certain tips and things, and he's helped me. Tonight wouldn't have been possible without Tommy, so definitely thanks to Tommy.
What's in for on that, man? Go ahead and celebrate the rest of the evening, and we'll catch you next week here.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir. That was number 00, Tyler Brown. I'm bringing home P3 this evening, and now we're going to go to second place. Number 25, Stephen Hollingsworth of that Space Force Ford F-150. Stephen, you have a copy?
Yeah, man.
Congratulations on that second place finish. Awesome job. My question to you is actually going to be to that final lap. You come into this thing 40 points out of the lead, only a few over the cut line. And I was really rooting for you to go up to the second groove there in turn 3 on the final lap to make that push to potentially lock yourself in. What was the game call there, and why did you end up staying in line?
On the final lap, I thought I was pinned on the bottom. I didn't realize I was clear to go to the second lane. I'm looking at it now, trying to figure out what you're seeing that I wasn't seeing. But yeah, that last restart, I felt like the 00 just wasn't on my bumper enough, and they got bias on the outside. We talked about it briefly before y'all put him in the chat. I'm sure we'll talk about it later, but he felt like he was on my bumper, and I was like, nah, man, you were not pushing me at all. And but we'll look at it and we'll figure it out. But yeah, they got bias, and I didn't realize the 38 was a lap down at coming to the checkered. I thought he was gonna pull out and go for the win. And I was hoping I could get, some kind of play out of that, but he never did pull out, and I didn't know he was a lap down. So, but all in all, P2 at Talladega. I mean, come on, good points. We survived. We ruffled some feathers off us. Obviously, we'll go back and look at that, and we'll move on to the next one.
And Steven, I know obviously you were one spot better than what you're sitting here talking to us now from when we last talked to you a handful of laps ago. I know it's probably disappointing, but hey, can't be mad at second place. It's Talladega. I know you want to win it, man. But hey, you've been running so good recently these last few weeks, whether it be the Sim Racing Points Truck Series or the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series, man. I mean, what have you been doing to try to prep for these races? Because we've seen you usually back at the beginning of the season, you were a mid to front pack driver. And then recently, as of recent, these last few weeks, man, you have been just tearing it up out there. Is there anything differently you've been doing? And how's your mindset going into these races now?
Well, the only thing that's changed is I started communicating with those Blackwater guys, Sherwood, Lane, Loomis, Brandon, and then after the races, talking to all the other competitors, and they're teaching me how to change things throughout the race to help my car change with the track, and that seems to be helping a lot. Being able to maintain track position throughout the race, and you know, keep up with the track, with the changing track. These races are decently long, and the track changes a lot, and so I have to change the setup. You know, when I first started, I was downloading setups off the internet and then just hoping it would work, and wouldn't have any idea how to make them better throughout the race. So obviously I would fall off and lose sight of the track. So chatting with those guys, getting to know more people in this league. This league is awesome. They're very competitive. They keep a tight ship. They don't take no crap, and you know, it creates some fun atmosphere around iRacing, which is cool.
Yeah, I have to agree there. And that's great that you have all the help and support post race, not only with teammates, but everybody in the whole league to kind of help you steer it into the right direction, which is clearly shown to be much better for you this year. You just put on a hell of a show for us every single week that we call you. And congratulations once more on P2. That's awesome. It's great points day, like you said, and hopefully you can carry that momentum into Iowa. But the floor is yours. Final thoughts before we let you go this evening.
Yeah, man. Just I appreciate the admins in the league officiating and putting this stuff on, and you guys for broadcasting. I try to make it as entertaining as possible throughout the race with different moves and stuff, and try to make just try to make it entertaining, as well as clean and fun. And I appreciate you guys. You know, broadcasting is really fun to go back and watch the stuff and hear your guys comments and your interactions on things that happen on the track is pretty funny. And yeah, appreciate it.
Thanks for the comments, man. Go ahead and celebrate the rest of the night, and we'll catch you next week.
See you.
Yes, sir. And that was the number 25, Stephen Hollingsworth, driver of that Space Force Ford F-150. And now it's time to bring in the first winner of the win number 1 of the 2023 C season, Mr. Tony Solari. Welcome to Victory Lane here.
Hey, what's going on there, gentlemen?
Hey, man, congratulations. That's awesome to see you bring home P1 here tonight for the Talladega 200. I didn't have you in my bingo card there late in the going, but some cards fell your way and you put yourself in the right position. I know your truck was fast. You just needed to pick up those right partners. What did it take from you to get home P1?
Well, running Brody setup from last year, the one or the last time we were here, he won. And, we had a fast truck. And me being the only guy still not in the playoffs, I was the guy not to win. But everybody else had issues. Michael had his incident and took him out. And Richie got a speedy. And then Brody at the end. I was just trying to be out there, help the teammates. And, when you're the last bullet in the chamber, then you're kind of like, well, you might as well get something going and see what you can make out of it.
Tony, congratulations, obviously, on the win tonight. Tonight, you get to thank your parents for watching, before Richie does, obviously, because Richie's not up here. But hey, man, how was your truck, obviously, all night? Because a lot of guys, we saw guys pushing, we saw guys kind of making some aggressive moves. Was there any point maybe where you wanted to hey, I'll just stay at the back? Was there any moments where you're like, I'm going to stay up at the front? How was your overall race just in general? Because all of a sudden chaos broke out heading into turn 1. Next thing you know, you came out on the right end.
That's plate racing. No matter when you're at Talladega or Daytona, it's always the same. And I always try to minimize my moves until the end when it really kind of matters. And you push when you can push, and you take the push when you get the push, and you just kind of roll with it. And kind of like I was telling Steve and Tyler when we were in the green room, so to speak. You just take what you could get when you could get it, and sometimes you got to finish first, sometimes you got to finish 20th. It just it's just whatever happens on these plate tracks. It's always a roll of the dice, and you really never know what to get. And then on a side note too, Mom and Dad, they're both stuck at home with COVID. They're doing well, but they still got the COVID, and they always watch anyway. But at least they weren't going anywhere tonight, so they actually at least made it worth their while watching the broadcast.
At least you got the win. At least you got the win. That's
exactly.
So
it's usually one of those. Sometimes they don't always make it, and it's like, oh, how'd you do? And the stream cut out, or they're in Vegas and they didn't get good reception, or whatever it is. But yeah, they were able to watch. They saw it all. So yeah, good for them, and hopefully they're feeling better.
What an awesome time to bring home the W for him. I mean, hopefully this is a good medicine for him too, to make him feel just a little bit better for sure. But congratulations, man, once more. Excellent job to bring it home late in the going here. But the floor is yours. Final thoughts before we let you go this evening.
As usual, I want to thank all the participants, the league, you guys for doing the broadcast. Just everybody that makes this thing spin. Coincidentally, Friday I made a completely new throttle pedal, and it's in the streaming links. If you guys know, I have a channel, a YouTube channel, and I also have Instagram, Z-Wings Workshop. You can see all the fun, goofy stuff I make. But I actually made a new throttle pedal for myself, and now it's a race-winning throttle pedal. So it's always really cool about that. I know I'm not Chase Elliott, but I'm gonna ring my bell, and if you know, you know.
There you go. Excellent, man. And that throttle probably would help you get to that victory for sure. Man, congratulations once more, and we'll catch you next week.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir. That was number 11. Tony Solari. And man, what a time to come home to victory lane. The parents locked into the house with COVID. He's got a brand new pedal, and he brings home the W, Jason. That's pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
COVID part, but still, they got the watch win.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And obviously, hoping that Tony's mom and dad do feel better. I know, obviously, for somebody who's had COVID a few times, as a terrible asthmatic, I know how bad it can be. So obviously, wishing them the best. Hopefully, they have a speedy recovery, like how Tony was so speedy here tonight in that number 11 machine. But just what a run for the number 11 machine. I mean, Jeremy, you said it. We did not have him on our bingo card really all night long. I mean, we know how, sometimes desperate guys can get, and sometimes Tony Solari ends up being a guy who cares a lot about others around him and then just ends up on the short end of the stick or the deal, at most of these plate races, where he ends up wrecked earlier on because of somebody else's incident. But tonight it just ended up being the right way for him, and now he finds himself in a position where he had a great night. He's out of the playoffs, but I think he could somehow probably still make something out of this back half of season C. But what a race. It was really clean there up until the end. But I'm definitely looking forward to Iowa next week.
Yeah, I love that short track. I know Dustin does too, our producer here tonight. He lives in that area, and it's one of the best races. And I hope that rumor is kind of true that the Cup and Xfinity are going to be there next year. Looking forward to see if it becomes a actual thing. But Jason, it's our time to close this thing out once more. Got to thank all of our sponsors. We're going to throw them onto the right-hand side of your screen. And first and foremost, we're going to thank the league themselves, FTSR, for letting us do this for you guys 2 nights a week, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. Get registered today at FTSR.net. Mach 1 Performance is your Monday Night Cup Series sponsor. It's a race fabrication shop that's produced winners and champions of all sorts of racing divisions. Find them on Facebook at facebook.com/Mach 1 Performance. Sim Racing Points, your league points management system that rules everyone else, and it has so many different things to offer your league. So just check them out at simracingpoints.com. Martin Sports, top quality apparel to make you look stylish and feel comfortable. See everything they have to offer you at martinsports.gg. iRacing iFlag, get your notifications just a fraction of a second faster without ever leaving the focus from the racing action in front of you. And you can find that at iRacingIFlag.com. The Butt Kicker, get that ultimate feel from a race car with your haptic response system from the Butt Kicker. and you head over to their website to check out everything, and that's at thebuttkicker.com. Team Watson Racing setups, quality, professionally built for all your asphalt oval needs, and find all their setups at teamwatsonracing.com. Dusty Pete's Gifts and Collectibles. It's a hobby shop with a whole lot more. So if collecting is the game, Dusty Pete's is the name, and find them at dustypete's.com. And lastly, Roasted Gems Coffee, premium coffee beans roasted just for you. Start your day the right way with coffee from roastedgems.com. All right, guys, we're going to close this thing out here tonight, and we're going to catch you live Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern for the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series as they tackle Talladega. Till then, get your nerd on.